Hey, this is Anthony from RevZilla. See if you can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Bell Race Star helmet available at RevZilla.com. This is the Race Star. This is the successor for Spring 16 of the original Bell Star and Bell Star Carbon. If we look at it, it is a completely new helmet from the ground up, but it is also part of the new Star family. So this bad boy is really designed for the 3/4 or the tuck position. Snell DOT, super lightweight. It is meant to be on the racetrack, and you're investing at that level. You're gonna be north of that $650, $700 mark. Now, when I talk about the Bell Star family, I have my Race Star, which we're gonna break down soup to nuts. We're gonna talk about all the key changes, upgrades, our opinion of it. Stay with me. But before I get there, let's talk about the Bell Star family very, very briefly, because they've blown away the RS1, they blew away the Star, and they've added an old granddad on top. Now, I have the Race Star, which is the performance option in the middle of the pack for Bell. What I have on my right here, though, is the Bell Star. Remember, Race Star, this is the Star. Very similar technology, but it's not going to be carbon fiber. It's about 3.5 pounds. It's a less pronounced angle of attack. You'll see that still Snell and DOT, but this bad boy is meant to be on the street and on the track, where this guy really is a race thoroughbred. Remember, that Race Star is meant for race and track day conditions. So I'm gonna put my Bell Star back over here, which is gonna be under $500, carry all of the same DNA as this guy, but again, different shell shape. It's gonna be slightly heavier. This guy also gets the Bell Flex technology, and that's the big upgrade here. So you've changed your profile, you've changed your weight. This guy's coming in at 3 pounds, 4 ounces. It's carbon fiber, which this Bell Star is not. But now you're getting the Flex technology, and it's hard to show it from the outside, but it's the new school technology that covers you at low, medium, and high-speed crashes. Still Snell, still DOT, but now it covers you in angular crashes. And how it does that, it has Flex technology, which allows you to have different layers. It's 3 different layers of EPS that work together, that allow it some range of motion, that can actually rotate, and it's going to allow you to have an energy management system on the inside of this helmet now that allows you to minimize the damage from multiple types of crash. The Bell Star does not have that. The Race Star has, and then the Pro Star has it on my left. Now, really quickly, again, when we talk about the Pro Star, north of the $1,000 mark, this is the old granddad. I'm gonna call this out. This guy's 3 pounds, 4 ounces. The Pro Star's getting down close to the 3 pound mark, and the only change between these two helmets, except for the price, which is gonna be probably $400 or $500 more, is Textreme carbon fiber. You can see it up here. This isn't a checkered flag. This is actually wide weave carbon fiber that comes from F1 racing. So what they do is use this super expensive, super technology-based Textreme carbon fiber, which allows a wider weave, less resins, distributes the force and weight and load over a greater surface area, and by doing that, it allows you to shave weight. So again, we talk about things that aren't rocket science. This actually is, but that is the only change with the Bell Pro Star at that high end, is going to be 2 to 3 ounces of weight savings if you really just need the best of the best. Now, let's dial it back here for a second. So before we break this fully down, again, key changes here when you're going from a Star to a Race Star. Again, we've talked about the Flex technology, we've talked about the aerodynamic profile. It's 3K carbon, which is going to be, again, more lightweight than this guy. They're also on the interior using Panavision in the cheek pads. So the cheek pads on this guy come out, they're magnet based. It's the best system in the industry right now. Panavision cheek pads that are virus infused. And the virus liner is antimicrobial and wicking, but it also has a cooling property that's up to 8 degrees of cooling applied to your face. So again, as you're getting hot, as you're sweating, it's going to keep you cool actively, and that is a technology baked in. That's your key upgrades there as we look at this, which is a completely overhauled helmet. Now, let's talk briefly about sizing. Let's dive into the helmet and break it down from the ground up. Size-wise, this is going to be 5 shell shapes, just like the Star, the Race Star and the Pro Star, 5 shell shapes. So smaller, more aerodynamic, all-encompassing. As far as how your head works within a liner, intermediate oval in its head shape, so a little bit longer front to back, not overly narrow. It should be a great shape, and I will tell you, on the Race Star and the Pro Star, a little bit tighter through the cheek pads, a little bit more all-encompassing, a little bit more snug. It's going to be that race fit that brings everything together, keeps everything where it's supposed to be. Now, I will tell you that all 3 of these helmets are eligible for the custom fit program that allows you to fine-tune the crown around the top of your head. And again, the last thing about this helmet is the profile. This helmet is meant to be in the 3/4 tuck position. And how does this relate back to fit? The EPS is actually rotated backwards 5 degrees. And what that does is it gives you a sight line that when your chin is on the tank, your eyes are going to be more aligned with the front of the helmet. So that Star does not have this. The Race Star and the Pro Star have that rotation of 5 millimeters or 5 degrees, and what it allows you to do is get better line of sight, better eyes upfield or through the corner when you're in the racer tuck position. So that is one of the things they're doing to make this helmet fit better and perform better for the intended use, which is high performance riding scenarios. Getting the most out of this helmet does not mean riding it in that position with your head down, utilizing all that technology on I-95. That would be a silly thing to do. It does mean going and doing track days and going and racing in it and have it perform at the highest level. Remember, if you're concerned about fit, use the size chart. We were not surprised by it. We'll ship for free over 39 bucks, which this guy certainly is. And as always, I'd love it if you click our logo, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV, leave me your comments, your questions, and your feedback on the new Bell Race Star, or ask any questions helping decipher the differences between the new Bell Star family right there. Now, let's work our way from the outside in and break this bad boy down soup to nuts. We talked about the aerodynamic profile. It's going to be sleek. It's meant for that race position. It's meant to keep it stable and create some downforce so you're not constantly be pulling back. They call that the Z coefficient. If we look at this helmet from a ventilation standpoint, this is one of the big upgrades over the previous Star. Now this is something they've really changed and redesigned. We always like the vent scheme on these helmets, right? You have 2 intakes in the front, you have 2 intakes at the brow, 2 intakes at the chimney, again, positively actuated. You can see how this works. Again, it's going to vent to the shield, keeping everything where it's supposed to be, keeping you cool. This helmet has always vented well, their previous version rather, the Star. The Race Star now optimizes the way that air flows, and it's going to give you a more quiet ride. So between the neck roll and the new vent configuration, you're getting a more quiet ride. Bell's throwing out some decibels that we don't have our own wind tunnel, so we're not able to test. But when we went out on the road and put it through its paces, we noticed that it didn't vent any less than the last version, but it was now more quiet. And that quiet's not gonna be annoying. Most guys on the track are using earplugs, but again, for the everyday rider, if you're gonna rock this and be the most badass sport biker on your block, that wind noise is gonna get annoying after a while. It did in the last version, and this version, it's more quiet even before you put the earplugs in. If we rotate it around to the back, you're gonna see how this wing works here. Super aggressive wing, multiple extraction points down at the bottom of the neck roll, up here along the wing. These are extractors. Remember, high-speed air coming over a spherical mass, creates that vacuum behind the helmet, extracts that air out. Again, that's the Venturi effect, and that's what helps actively keep you cool, even with a passive vent configuration. Now, if we look at the outside, you have carbon fiber, 3K carbon. It's a mixture of organic resins, fiberglass, Kevlar, and then you have that carbon fiber layer. Again, going from 3 pounds 7 ounces down to 3 pounds 4 ounces on your Race Star. And again, you go even lower with that Techstream carbon fiber, which we already talked about. You can also see the angles baked into this helmet. Now, this is one of the graphics, the solids that will also come out. You'll really see the pronunciation of some of these cutaways, the angular aerodynamic properties of a very aggressive lid, and you see how it all ties together. Now, if we get past our vent scheme and past our outer shell, and we talked about 5 shell shapes where the previous version had 3, again, allowing you to only use as much material as you need. That's how they're able to get this weight down. The previous version was 4 pounds 2 ounces. This guy's now 3 pounds 4 ounces. You've shaved nearly a pound. It's kind of insane. If we look at it, the other thing I want to touch base on is the shield mechanism redesign, and it's a consistent shield across the entire Star family. So class 1 optically correct, distortion free, will not give you a headache. You can get a shield with a max vision pin lock, you can get a photochromic shield, but here are the changes that come stock. It's now a center lock, solid detents, you have your city position, you have your open position. Notice when I move it along the side, notice how this goes in and out like that. When I push it all the way down, it locks in. It creates a positive seal from both air and elements around the eye port gasket. There's also Pano Vision. Pano Vision, they've invented something new. Let's talk about that. 5mm detent or cutaway baked into this spot, which is the spot where your eye is gonna need to see past if you're doing head checks in the race position. So now you don't have to get around that chin bar. You actually have a cutaway that's giving you better visibility over your shoulder on either side on a bike that typically is not going to have any kind of mirror system. If we look at the mechanism itself, again, we've talked about that positive seal. Let's talk about removal. Look how easy this is. You push it in, you move it forward, tag, it's off. If I want to put it back, I line it up, I pull it back, and I'm done. Super simple for shield change mechanisms. Everybody, and I said this in the other video, everybody 5 years ago had a terrible to less than terrible shield change mechanism. Maybe Scorpion was the easy one that still existed. At this point, everybody's up their game, and you need to have it be spring-loaded and positively locking and easy to remove in a pinch. Super easy, especially for a racer. Bang, bang, and you're done. One of the simplest we've seen. The other thing, as I work my way down here, and you're gonna see it down here along the front, is they've just cleaned up the lines across the front of the helmet. You can see everything is in the place that it's supposed to be, and again, you're getting this super aggressive aerodynamic aerodynamic profile. Remember, chin vent here is going to vent to the shield. It opens and closes, and then there should be a plug on the inside. I'm going to reach for it right now. It does exist. I'm going to remove this plug, which is really, I call it the race plug. Actually, super tough to get out because they put it in there. Good, nice positive lock. But what happens is if I pull this plug out, I'm now optimizing this helmet to get all my chin vent to go to my face. Thinking about it on the racetrack. If I leave this plug in, it vents to the shield, which ultimately is going to give you bigger defogging properties. So again, they're just being really thoughtful about the upgrades to this helmet. Now, if I move from the outside into the inside, I'm going to bring my donut over, put this guy on its side. Let's walk our way through it. Notice the neck roll. Part of the quiet factor, much more all-encompassing. And again, going with the smaller shell, they can have an increase in the neck roll, give you a better seal at the bottom. That's going to minimize wind noise coming up off your shoulders from underneath. You do have a removable chin skirt here, or chin curtain, fully removable. You have my neck roll, which snaps in along the back. You can see how that pulled out right there. I'm going to pull it up from there. Here we go. Notice, that's my neck roll. It's going to be that virus material, which is antimicrobial, antibacterial. It's going to be wicking. It has a cooling property to it, which is going to allow you to have that heat pulled away, not just sweat. I'm going to put this guy down here behind me. And then what I'm going to do is, I already showed you my emergency cheek pad removal system, but it's Magnifusion. Rare earth neodymium magnets. You can see how they line up right there. And what you're going to do is not have to worry about any snaps. They invented this technology years ago. We first saw it show up in their Moto 9 for on dirt bikes, and now it is probably what I would consider the best cheek pad mechanism in the game. And you can see there's my virus material there. Again, it's actually jade infused, just ups the ante that much further. Now, if I pull my snaps here, and I'm going to pull out my comfort liner, I also want to call out that this is one of their final samples. And this was a test version of this helmet, so we've been beating it up, and we found that it was a little loose along the front. They've actually improved that, and it's going to be a little bit more snug for the final production version. That was one of those final tweaks. So you saw it when I was rotating, it hung down a little bit. They took that feedback and they're actually going to refine the final production sample. Notice, snaps that go into the brow. They're not going to go into your forehead. Notice, it's going to be that jade virus, or that virus liner. Again, jade infused, antimicrobial, and it's cool to the touch. It's going to wick heat away, not just sweat. Super premium, it's an upgrade. You can also go with the custom fit program on this guy. And when I open it up from the bottom, double D-ring, which is what we expect. Notice the red and the black. That's your three layers, the EPP, EPS, and EPO layers, which all have a different density. Now, it's that Moto 9 Flex, or it's that Flex technology that we saw start in the Moto 9 that, again, allows it to move ever so slightly. It allows it to wiggle as you would move within the helmet. High speed, medium speed, low speed, or rotational type crashes on the street are now solid. And again, still Snell, still DOT, still set up for the track, but you're getting a different level of head protection and energy management baked here into the Race Star. So as I said, they've blown away what they did for the Star, which lived for so long and sold so well. People love the Star. I remember I did some of my first track days in a Star helmet, gosh, 5, 6, 7 years ago. If we think about this though, this new Race Star, it takes that place at that same price range, but blows away all the old technology with all the new technology. It really takes the best of what they have right now, and honestly, for another 500 bucks, you can shave a couple ounces and you can go up to the Pro Star. That could be your cup of tea. If you don't want the Flex technology and some of those additional creature comforts aren't as meaningful to you, and you're thinking about more on the street, and maybe not doing a track day or just doing a little bit of weekend warrior track days, the Bell regular Star could be a rock solid option for you as well. But in this category, you're going to have the Bell Race Star heads up with something like a Corsa from AGV, an X14 from Shoei. You're going to see an Arai Corsair X play in this range. That's the type of conversation we're having about the new Bell Star and Pro Star really taking the technology to the next level. So Bell from Santa Cruz, if you guys are listening, very happy with the direction you made. I'm really excited to see how these vents perform over time and the fit and finish as you continue to refine how that performs. Because again, on a 6-year-old helmet, the Star, sometimes the fit and finish broke down for us, but that's not what we're seeing at first glance or even at first usage after we're putting the Bell Star or the Bell Race Star or even anything in the Star family through its paces. The next step in your journey though is to click the info button on your mobile or your desktop device. Visit the product detail page for the Bell Race Star at RevZilla.com. Heck, you should probably watch the videos for the Pro Star and just the Star if you want to really round out your knowledge. But I will say this, read other rider reviews of the Bell Race Star. Start with my information, my baseline. our sense after we put our miles on this helmet, but then take all the available information to form your opinion before you make an investment at this level. Keep in mind, we'll ship for free over $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV if you want to stay up to date with our opinion on the best and most innovative of the realm of motorcycle gear, accessories, and parts. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.